Alright, so good morning, and this one's going to be kind of a new one, kind of a very interesting one, kind of an expensive one. So let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. Another unboxing for you guys. It came in this morning, and if you can't tell by the title, it's going to be a very, or at least for me, something a little bit out of the norm that I'm used to. I told myself I would not buy this. Of course, there's a few reasons. We'll get into that. Maybe I'm proven wrong, but I thought I could do an unboxing for you guys again of something that I never thought I would ever buy. But I was convinced from somebody that I should get it anyways. It'd be good for the channel, and of course it'd be good for the collection. As you can tell, there's nothing else in this box but a green CRKT box. And yes, it's pretty wide. This is probably the biggest CRKT box I've ever had the chance to purchase. And expecting so. So, a lot of people are asking me, what motivates me to get these in my collection? To answer that question, I would say that if it appeals to me, or if it looks interesting, or if it's different, something that I'm not used to, and I like it, of course I'll get it. But also I get it because it's different, and I'm the type of guy who's into interesting things that are different. So I guess, I don't know if that's one way to answer it, but that's probably the best way I can talk as far as answering it. Excuse me, I'm still waking up. This is early in the morning for me, and I didn't really have a chance to get ready. I'm still in my pajamas and just kind of lounging around trying to wake up, so excuse me if I'm a little slurred. I don't really sleep too well these days. So confidence in hand, CRKT, very wide box, probably the biggest CRKT box I've seen. Let's open it up and let's take a look. This is the CRKT Provoke. I never thought in a million years I would ever get this knife. And the problem is all these screws, from what I hear, tend to come loose the more that you open this knife. And from the looks of it, it is exactly what I pictured it to be. This weird, awkward, mechanically looking piece of machinery. I'm not going to say that I don't like it. What I am going to say is that it seems a little bit more gimmicky than something that would probably prove useful. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There are practitioners out there that I'm sure really, really enjoy having a karambit that does what this does. But this will be one for the collection of karambits that I own, so why not? And this is the most expensive karambit that I own. I thought that the Fox Knives karambit was expensive. This is pretty expensive, and it feels really heavy. This feels like a big old chunk of metal, and it really is. And a very interesting pocket clip. You push down on this, and that part opens up so you can actually slide it in the pocket, and it'll actually stay in the pocket. The intention is you just pull it out your pocket like a regular folder, and you push down on this, and it pops out like that. I don't know if you guys really saw that. That's without cutting myself. I'm trying to find the locking mechanism here. Okay, so you press this back and it unlocks. Ah, alright. Let's try that again. This time so you guys can see it. Yeah, that's a little rough. I have to say that is not very easy to do on camera. Alright, let's try it again. So to unlock this knife, you have to press this thing down, and it moves freely. See that? So I don't know if that's like a magnetic thing. Maybe that's why it's so tough to open up. Yeah, that's not very... To be honest with you, that seems to be very... kind of got to get used to it. You got to... Because the way that you would have to deploy this knife, it doesn't catch on anything. You just pull it out your pocket, and then you pop it open like that. And you have karambit ready to go in use of self-defense. This knife is strictly a self-defense knife. I'm going to say that right off the bat now. If you're thinking of buying this knife to use it as a utility blade, I am going to tell you right now that you're going to have to open it up like this. And then you're just going to cut open boxes or cut some rope while you're fishing or whatever you're doing. This is not meant to be a utility blade. This is a self-defense knife. And the locking mechanism is really interesting because as you're holding this knife, the locking mechanism is right here. So you have to push down on that, and it's kind of, you know, sits freely. And I think it is a magnetic type thing. I'm gonna have to pull out that this right here, as you guys can see, so that way we know what kind of thing this is. Okay, so the more I do this, the looser it gets. The reason why I didn't want this is because, well, at first, is because these screws that you see here tend to come loose over time. And I've heard the last person that owned this was playing around with it a lot, opening it and closing it. And because he liked it. It was one of those knives that he just really, really enjoyed having. And he was telling me that the screws would come loose. And you'd have to constantly tighten these screws. Which doesn't really surprise me too much because over time, with anything, things tend to wear down. With something like this, my only fear is when I have it in the pocket, how much room it's going to take, because this is pretty wide. And then, of course, pulling it out, because this thing is going to be, my pants pocket's going to be all the way up on this pocket clip, and only this much of it's going to be sitting out. So I'd have to put both fingers in there, pull this out, put my finger through the ring, and then pop that open and try to look like a tough guy with this. That's just a whole bunch of processes. In my personal opinion, it's really cool because it folds out like that. But I think that's just really the gimmick of it all. Great for the collection. I can tell you right now, I really like this. This is different, it's interesting, it's CRKT at its best. I'm not going to say that I don't like this. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to carry it. But this is a single purpose driven knife. So the price tag on this, it actually changed because last it said that this was $199. Right now on Amazon it's $186.96. So if you guys are interested in it, go ahead and check up on it on Amazon. But we'll go ahead and get into the specs on this knife. And we'll see how much it weighs. So, 5.86 ounces. That's pretty heavy. It's almost a 6-ounce knife. Now, the thickness, the wideness of this being in your pocket, I want to look at that first. So when it's sitting in your pocket, 47.6, that much of it right there is going to be sitting in your pocket. So this is already really wide. And then, of course, thickness is a 15.8. Blade thickness, let's check that out. Yeah, the more that I open it up, the more it feels like it can do it freely. At first it was really tight and it barely opened up. 3.8 millimeters wide at the blade. So, okay. Blade's not that bad. But this thing's kind of a chunker, in my personal opinion. Can you still do tricks with this thing? oh yeah, you can still do your whole karambit training with it, because the one thing that I was afraid of is how this locking mechanism works, and it feels nice and tight. So let's go ahead and do the one last thing on this, is the measurement of this entire thing. So open, because it's kind of in a crescent shape, it's going to be a little bit weird, but from tip to ring you're looking at almost 7.5 inches, and the blade length is, excuse me, sorry about that, I'm kind of at a weird angle right now, about 2.5 inches of cutting, yeah, 2.5 inches of your blade edge, your cutting edge. And then of course closed up, if you're curious about that, yeah, you're looking at almost 5 inches in the pocket. So that's if you're wanting to know that at all. But yeah, so now it's a little bit easier to open up. Like I said, my only fear is these screws coming loose. The locking mechanism's nice and tight. It's a heavy, chunky knife in your pocket if you're willing to carry this around for self-defense, by all means. The deployment on this, I do warn you, if you're deploying it out the pocket, you're going to pull it out your pocket, put your finger through the hole, and pop it open. That's just a whole bunch of processes. If you're looking for something that is going to be more effective, I would suggest the Fox Karambit, because that one's a wave opener and the ring is ready for you to put your finger through the ring, pull it out the pocket, and it deploys automatically. Instantly you have a self-defense tool when you need it. As far as this, it's cool because it turns all compact and then it transforms into a karambit. So, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing and you really like it, I don't really think it's going to be very effective in a stressful situation. When you pull this out your pocket for self-defense, you better hope that you have the motor skills while your adrenaline is rushing and you're scared out of your mind and you don't know what else to do and you have to pull a weapon out. Let's hope you don't drop this thing, or let's hope you don't slip up on it and you're trying so hard to just, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go. I think, my personal opinions, what would make this even better is if they put a little, oh, okay, never mind. Scratch that, there's a little bit of jimping on here anyway. Honestly, I don't really feel it. I was gonna say, if they put a little bit of jimping on this portion right here, it would help. It's not very aggressive. Okay, so I guess it is kind of there. But there is a little bit of jimping recessed right there, so that way you can actually catch onto it. So scratch that. It's okay. It is a bit wide and it's a bit chunky, but hey, it's great. It's great. So, yeah, there's that. And then the reading material, hopefully there's something that can explain the locking mechanism and how it works. Okay, so, yeah. If you guys want to pause the video so you can read this, you can. But basically, it describes how this operates. So, here it is for you guys. If you want to pause it, you can read it. I'm not going to really read it because my video is already kind of getting long right now. And then here's another CRKT kind of side info that I love reading. And I think I've already read something like this. So yeah, you get that and all this. So if you're interested, look it up. Like I said, on Amazon, it's running for $186. I paid $200 for this, $199. So I don't know. Good for the collection. I might carry it. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it, to be honest, but I really do like it. I think it's great. But it is the gimmick $200 knife right here. So that's my take on the CRKT Provoke. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.